Will Kendrick Lamar respond to Drake? Will the boogeyman come out? Did Drake do enough to continue this unnecessary beef? I'm Sean, Longevity with Bringing Down the Band and the New Old Heads podcast. This is my Unpack series where I typically go deeper on New Old Head segments. That's what we're doing this week. There was a question that was brought up about if Kendrick would come back. And I think that's an interesting thing to kind of think about. So let's watch this short little clip and then let's talk about it.
How long do you think before we hear from the boogeyman?
I'm not convinced that he will reply.
I'm almost certain
I think he will.
You think
I'm
so?
almost certain he is.
Yeah, because I feel like he poked at him a little too much on this album.
And I left it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kendrick left it alone. He could put the diss out.
What else can Kendrick even say?
Oh, there's plenty more he could say.
Remember the last joint that he dropped before Not Like Us? He said he had a whole lot of shit lined up.
He said he had 5 more.
And then I think what Stat Quo said on what's the podcast?
Culture United?
Not Culture United, the other one. The one with Third Verse. I think he stated that he had a whole lot more shit to get off his chest as far as in reference to him. So he was cool with the beef going on because he wanted to hear more stuff.
I don't think that Kendrick needs to do this anymore. And I really do pose the question, what does Kendrick Lamar gain? I mean, the obvious answer is sure, people are going to pay attention. Sure, you can have the dialogue back and forth. It's good for hip hop, for people that like battles and things of that nature. I almost feel like from one perspective that, Drake did this 2 years later. There's a lot of subtle shots with the music video references, obviously with the rap lines and the things of that nature. It's just like, I almost feel like it's beneath Kendrick at this point. I feel like he gives Drake more of what he wants if he responds again, which is attention.
I don't know if he's going to get personal like that, but I feel like this is not over in Kendrick's eyes. There's no way that he lets him get this shit off and he's not going to say nothing about it.
At the same time, you're going to have people that are going to be like, oh, Kendrick never responded, but do you care about those people? I don't know.
He might not say, hey, Drake, you know what I'm saying? But he's definitely going to say something.
I don't know what else he can really say. Like, from the perspective of like where we're at, obviously some people really like rap battles and like rap battle records, right? But I guess from the perspective of like, what else can he really say? Because he's already destroyed him. And from my eyes and from most of our eyes, there's not really much more Kendrick can do to really push him more down in the ground. And it's not going to affect Drake at all anyways.
Nah.
So unless you're going to...
But I didn't think it would, though. Did y'all think that this would affect Drake?
I think it did affect Drake from the perspective of it it put a divide. This is a very important point. And this is the way that it does affect Drake. It put people, maybe not anything like monetarily or anything like that, but the battle highlighted what many people had already maybe formalized in their heads, or what many of it's the no obryism. It's like the people like me, people like Shasta Ill Brown, who made T-shirts called No Obryism. This is real. This is real life. Shouts to the homie Ill Brown.
Barbaric, Brown setting the bar higher. Major 7 supply the heat for the barn fire.
He's got an album called Return of the Hardcore, which is a really good album. Look that up. Yeah, I forget how long ago that was, but that had to have been at least maybe 12, 13 years ago. So I'm just saying that for reference points, right? 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's Sean Price.
You've seen a few videos, they love Drake, shit like that,
like a lot of the people that had
DMX.
Yeah, a lot of the people.
Drake, you like Drake?
No.
People that had these most deaf, Yasin, but
like, is Drake hip hop?
A lot of these people that had these things, it helped people kind of like really draw the line in the sand. Like, and I think what I say by helped people, I meant many of us already kind of had this clear delineation of Drake is, sure, he's of the hip hop culture and things of that nature. Sure, he makes rap music. He's more of a pop artist. I feel like I'm rehashing stuff that many of us already know at this point. It kind of helped people that maybe weren't following along as close. It kind of seeded that even further. And maybe people that weren't putting those two together, they're like, oh, I really actually don't like what this guy represents. I really don't like the types of things that he does. I really don't like how he couples up against the streaming culture and the manosphere. And the manosphere of the guys who are, like the people that are interviewing Donald Trump, I don't like the fact that there is no pushback against him, like trying to compare himself to Michael Jackson. I really don't like the fact that I've got nothing to say about the White House making the racist little one, Drake's artwork in itself of holding a chain, right? But then the White House doing that in a very particular way to kind of juxtapose, or they took Drake's imagery and used it as an example to draw comparisons to ICE, which we have been saying on the New Old Heads for at least 6 months about, like, maybe you want to change that name up, with everything that's going on in the country right now. Like, maybe it's a good idea to not push that further in this type of direction. There's more that I can say, but I do feel like what this battle did, if there's any type of like how this negatively affected Drake outside of him and his friends and all of that thing, which is obviously apparent by Iceman, it was like it kind of closed that gap. It was like the people that were kind of on the border are less on the border now, and I think that hurt him. So anyways, no, this is the type of artist that I don't with.
Yeah.
And I think from that perspective, I don't know if Kendrick can. Drake's fans are like MAGAs at this point. We expect when you present people with enough evidence and enough stuff that people are going to look at it and be like, you know what, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not how the world works, and that's not how people work. And so I don't know what more else he can do to not like beat it into the ground, like the same thing.
Get that timestamp.
Like I was saying, I there is a very close connection to Drake fandom and MAGA fandom in the perspective of from a cult phenomenon, and like the blind following the blind. It's not the same as a Kendrick fandom. Like I can sit on here and say I didn't like GNX. I've said that. There's a lot about GNX that I do not like because it's a particular style of music that does not fit my fancy. It's, I'm not a huge fan of Bay Area music in that particular type of way. That is okay. That is just what I like. In the same way some people like New York hip hop more, some people like Southern hip hop more, some people like Houston hip hop more than Atlanta hip hop, and vice versa. Whatever. Point of the matter is that I can sit up here and I can just be real about how things lie and the way that I see things. And I don't feel like a lot of Drake fans are really like that. It's super riding for stand-up. Don't get me wrong, there's stand-up on both sides, but it's definitely extremely high on one side.
Yeah. Yes, people been saying that though. It definitely coincides with that group of people because there's nothing that you can say that's going to deter them from thinking and rocking with whatever they decide. It's
Drake indoctrination syndrome.
It definitely is, man. It's like
the bar.
I don't know, but I think from just a hip hop, a rap, you
just want to beat them up again.
It ain't even got to be the same way. There's no way I feel like that Kendrick is going to let him get out here and say this and not address it.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with why he was laughing. It's like, okay, this is what you got. Don't make me.
And he's referenced to the live stream that apparently some live streamer called Kendrick and Kendrick was laughing on the phone or something.
Had to come back outside on this shit.
And I spared you. I shut up. I ain't said nothing in 2 years.
Yeah, I ain't
done no interviews. I left it alone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's again,
A minor in front of
not like us.
People.
Not Like Us was one of the hottest songs, if not the best rap diss song that's ever been released.
And people wanted to see that.
Yeah, people wanted to see it. He had to perform that.
Yeah.
GNX was not about Drake.
Not at all.
It was him taking that moment of him having that situation with Drake and capitalizing on it.
It was, I think I say it here, I think it's very Drake adjacent.
He didn't address Drake on that project.
He might have said some things that
but it wasn't like.
I think it was adjacent. I don't think it was direct. Kind of like a Drake diss.
Yeah.
It was more, to me, it was more like a celebration.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, no pun intended, but that was a victory lap.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
It was like, I did what I came to do.
I don't know. When I think about this, I just don't. Maybe it's just like the type of person that I am, that I'm injecting too much into this situation. Because don't get me wrong, like the argumentative, competitive nature in me that I've been trying to battle, I feel like my entire life, the ego, if you will. Part of me is just like, man, just let it go. It's not that important. Let's move on. Let's just make great music, which is kind of like what I wished Drake would have done with Iceman, rather than make the same song like 12 times on an 18-track project. But the other side of me too, I think when the ego gets involved a little bit, it's just kind of like, how dare you, and I feel like that's I don't know. It does feel a little bit more of the childish side, a little bit more of the I have to protect my turf, I have to protect who I am. And I think the more mature angle from that is like, I don't really have to because it's not really going to affect my bottom line. I can just continue to make really great art. And again, I guess that's the kind of growth that I wanted to see from Drake. I was okay with him like maybe addressing it to some degree, you know, like he did. I was very clear, you know, in this review that we did on the New Old Heads about like, you know, the way this project started out, I actually was liking it at first, but then it just became kind of the rinse repeat same song over and over again with a different beat from a different angle with a different slide diss, and it's just kind of like move on, you know, like, and maybe this is his song to move on, you know, maybe that's that for him. Cool. A little late, but cool. You know, obviously it takes a while to get projects ready to drop. Maybe some of these records were written a very long time ago. I'll give him that grace. I don't know. But I would much rather, in a perfect world, I would much rather Drake tap into whoever he is and make some really great rap records. But I don't think he's given himself enough time to grow on a regular basis. I don't know if he's even capable of it. And from Kendrick's angle, I hope he distances and separates himself from Drake and continues to make just great art that's not rooted around Drake. And not only from the perspective of like, because then Drake fans can like shut the f up, you know, just so that they can like move on and find something more meritable to kind of pay attention to so they can eat a different colored crayon or something. I don't know, but like just from an artistic standpoint, I would prefer Kendrick to try something new again, you know, hit me with some other cool, good art whenever it feels time and don't have it centered around Drake. But I'm also biased because I don't really like rap beefs like that, you know? So I don't know. I don't really feel like he benefits from it. I mean, he does from the sake of it's going to keep his name up there. It's going to generate more money for him. It's going to keep his name out there. You know, it's going to create this tension back and forth, but I feel like it's kind of washed at this point. I feel like, can we just move on, you know? And I feel like it does I feel like if he would do it at this point, I would understand why he would reply, but it would still feel a little bit corny at this point because I feel like it just doesn't fully align with everything he said. Like Jay Moore said in the video, like he's had his victory lap. You know, the consensus is what the consensus is. Kendrick won. Right now is just happens to be Drake's moment because he dropped a 3-track project, you know. And he referenced Kendrick a lot of times 2 years after the fact. You know, it's too little too late. You know, I'm sorry that, you know, Drake can rap his ass off. I just wish he had something to rap about that wasn't somebody else's idea. But, you know, here we are. I don't know. What do you think? You want to hear more? You want the boogeyman to return? I don't know. I know it feels like a lot of times like I play the contrarian, but this is really just how I am. So I don't know. I'm Sean Longevity with the New Old Heads, and of course breaking down the band. This is my Unpacked series. Subscribe to the New Old Heads, become a member, $5 member to get our uncut show. We talked about Drake for an hour and a half on this particular episode. I think through clips and everything else in the whole episode, I think probably only half of that is going to get released to the public. So if you're interested in the full discourse, check that out. It's just patreon.com/newoldheads or just visit it on YouTube and become a member, and you can check the uncut. It's for our members only. So until next time, peace.